Will you pray with me? May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable to you, O God, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Today we wrap up the Christmas season with the celebration of Epiphany. On Epiphany we remember the coming of the wise men, how these foreigners from a different country, a different religion, also came to Bethlehem to worship the child born King of the Jews. As we said a moment ago, the word Epiphany means revelation, a brief pulling back of the curtain between heaven and earth to reveal what is really true. God, the great mystery, the animating power behind all of creation, comes to us in human flesh, in a word, in a form we can understand and can love, in a tiny human baby. This morning's epistle reading that Rhonda read for us also takes up the topic of revelation. The author, writing in the tradition of the Apostle Paul, speaks of a great mystery that has been true since the beginning of creation, but only now in Jesus Christ has been revealed. And the mystery is this: the Gentiles have become fellow heirs, members of the same body, and sharers in the promise of Jesus Christ through the gospel. That's it. That's the mystery. Jews and non-Jews alike are both in, both beloved, both children of God. Now that may feel a little bit anticlimactic, since we don't spend much time these days worried about the Jew-Gentile divide. But of course it doesn't stop there, does it? The mystery extends to any group that we are inclined to call a them. The great mystery, according to Ephesians, is that everybody's in. Everybody's loved, even you, even me, even the people we really wish were not included. In Jesus Christ, God breaks down every wall that divides, and that includes the fences that we've built ourselves to keep out the riffraff. The church is called to proclaim this great mystery, to make it known throughout the world. And one of the best ways that I know to do that is through the wisdom of a children's book by Douglas Wood and John J. Muth. So friends, hear the gospel. Hear the great mystery revealed in the words of Old Turtle and the broken truth. Once, in a beautiful, faraway land that was somehow not so very far, into this lovely land there fell a truth. It streaked down from the stars, trailing a tail as long as the sky, but as it fell, it broke. One of the pieces blazed off through the night sky, and the other fell to earth in a beautiful land. In the morning, Crow found the fallen piece. It seemed to be some sort of stone, shiny and pleasing to the eye. He picked it up. "This is a lovely truth," Crow said. "I will keep it." And he carried it away. But after he held it for a while, and examined it closely, Crow said, "This truth does not feel quite right. A part of it is missing. I will look for a whole one." He flew off and dropped it to the ground. Butterfly and bear also discovered the truth, drawn by its sweetness. But each found that it left a bitter taste. After all, there is something missing in this truth, they thought, and they left it alone. Then a human being found it. He was walking slowly, listening to breezes, gazing out beauties above and below and all around him, when he found the broken truth. On it was writing, and the writing said, "You are loved." The man held it carefully, thinking it was the loveliest thing he had ever seen. He tucked the broken truth into a safe place and kept it. Sometimes he would take it out and admire it, and the truth sparkled for him and whispered its message to him alone. And the man thought he had never felt so proud and so happy. The man took the truth to his people, those who lived with him, who spoke as he spoke, and dressed as he dressed, and whose faces looked like his. And together they cherished this newfound truth and believed it. They hugged it to themselves, and it became their most important possession. And they called it the truth. The truth made the people feel good and proud and strong. But soon they also began to feel fear and even anger towards those who were not like themselves and did not share their truth. The other beings and the other people of the lovely land seemed less and less important. One day, a little girl came to find Old Turtle. She had traveled very far, had crossed the mountains of imagining and the river of wondering why, had found her way through the forest of finding out. And when she had grown tired, she had ridden on the backs of the animals and the wings of the birds, and they had helped her find her way. When she saw Old Turtle, she could hardly speak. She simply looked with eyes full of wonder. "Why have you come so far to find me, little one?" asked Old Turtle. Her voice rumbled like faraway thunder, but was soft as the breeze through a caterpillar's whiskers. I wanted to ask a question," said the little girl. "Where I live, the earth is sore, and the people are suffering. Battles are fought over and over again. People say it has always been this way and will never change. Can it change, Old Turtle? Can we make it change?" Old Turtle spoke. "The world you describe is not the world that has always been, little one." Then Old Turtle told of how the people had found the broken truth and the suffering it had caused. It is because it is so close to a great whole truth that it has such beauty and that the people love it so, said Old Turtle. It is the lost portion of that broken truth that the people need if the world is to be made whole again. Remember this, little one, old turtle said. The broken truth and life itself will be mended only when one person meets another. Someone from a different place or with a different face or different ways, and sees and hears herself. Only then will the people know that every person, every being is important, and that the world was made for each of us. Now, little one, it is time for you to go, to return to your people and to tell them what you have seen and learned, and to help them mend their broken truth. Take this with you, said Old Turtle as she placed something in the little girl's hand. The little girl looked at what Old Turtle had given her. It was a kind of stone, a mysterious, beautiful stone. It was lovely to touch, and it made her feel good to hold it. She squeezed it tightly, then tucked it away for her journey. Thank you, Old Turtle, she said, and she hugged her friend's great big leathery neck. And then she started home. When the little girl got home, the people did not recognize her. It had been a very long journey, and those who take journeys of the heart are changed. When she spoke to the people, they could not follow her words. She explained about the broken truth and the need to make it whole, but the people did not believe her. They could not understand. Finally, Crow, seeing all that had happened, flew to the place high above the village where the great truth was kept, in a place where all could see it. He called and called in his loudest voice, and suddenly the little girl knew what to do. She climbed to the high place herself. She took Old Turtle's stone from her pocket and carefully added the missing piece to the old, broken one. The fit was perfect. The truth now said, "You are loved, and so are they." The people looked and looked and looked. Some frowned, some smiled, some even laughed, and some cried. And they began to understand. Time passed in the beautiful land. The trees climbed like ladders to the stars, the waters shone like mirrors, and the people saw their beauty. And slowly, as the people met other people different from themselves, they began to see themselves. And far, far away, on a hill at the very center of the world, Old Turtle smiled. That's it, friends. That's the gospel. The great mystery revealed. You are loved, and so are they. Thanks be to God. Amen.
Amen.